all of my life I've been pretty much into movies and going to the drive-in and all that good stuff. We've had like 16 millimeter projector systems and 8 millimeter projectors and pretty much almost every movie format, on TV, the VCR, Betamax, all that good stuff. So for me, I got into 3D, I guess, late in the game when it actually, I should actually say that there was a 3D technology called field sequential TV. VHS, DVDs, and all had it. Very headache inducing, not that great of a resolution. The 3D depth and stuff was okay, but eventually they got stuff that was like this new stuff, new technology, frame sequential 3D, not to be mistaken in any way for like anaglyph, which uses like the colored filtered glasses. It might be okay for some of the black and white stuff, but not really for colored movies and stuff like that. Laserdisc were one of my favorite formats to collect for. After you kind of graduate out of the clamshell VHS stuff. And of course, you got to have the Criterion version of Halloween. You got to have some form of Goonies, Fifth Element. I've got multiple versions of that, and Barbarella. And of course, VCDs were fun to collect, kind of low res, kind of lower than VHS or whatever, cheap. And they were commercially available, and bootlegs and everything in like Malaysia and stuff like that. And I've always been a fan of the Resident Evil series, as you may see here and here on these double-sided movie posters. And this is a portion of my VHS collection. Of course, the HD DVD versus Blu-ray format wars was a thing, and you could get quite a few of like Disney-owned stuff by going outside of the country, but ultimately Blu-ray won, but possibly because Xbox, Microsoft supported both formats and didn't force an HD DVD drive inside of their 360. You had to buy the 360 drive separately, the HD DVD drive, and it apparently took like 1 million lines of code to make this compatible with the Xbox 360. So I'm very surprised it even came out at all. So we gotta talk about DVDs, and what better way to talk about them than or mention them than to look at the Disney Movie Club DVDs that may be kind of hard to get sometimes, from retailers. Of course, if you grew up, going to the drive-in, every weekend or almost every weekend, you probably were into vinyl. Of course you gotta have vinyl. 2 of my 16 millimeter projectors, and I still have both of them. The belts are probably gone bad in one or both. Don't really have any film anymore, but they're kind of neat little collector's items. And if we ever decide to do like a drive-in or theater theme, it would be nice to have them on display. My home theater media rack or cabinet, hang on wall, or it had wheels so it can be carted around. Has nice fans and stuff, exhaust fans and all built into it. And it's hard to see because the reflective glass here, but this is, pretty much it's set up. I have it set up for both a 4K TV and a 3D projection system. When I was first setting up a projection system in my old home, I got this, I believe it's a 94-inch widescreen 1.85 to 1 ratio screen. I had it up before I even had carpet on the floor. But it was set up mainly for 3D. And there's the projector that we use with a 3D emitter there. You can use a DLP link, or you can put an emitter for IR or RF. 3D. Captured, I guess that's Expendables 2 or something, or I can't remember. I'll probably talk much more about the setup, home theater setup, and models of the everything. And but let's go back to the 3D. This is probably one of my favorite 3D films, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It is a converted 3D, which means it wasn't shot with 3D cameras, but over the years, conversions have gotten better. Studios and stuff have gotten better with their tools, and they know how to push, the depth and pop out and stuff out, and to make a 2D film look like 3D, and they did an awesome job with Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, and I believe this was a Best Buy exclusive with 4K and 3D versions on it. And that's my actual Mario DS holder, which he holds a lot of things when I want to take a picture. Did I mention the HD DVD versus Blu-ray war? So in the early days of Blu-ray, you didn't have all of the films available in America, but you could import some of these. These are all 3 imports. Early releases of Nightmare on Elm Street, Goonies, and Perfect Creature from the UK, Netherlands, and believe it or not, Canada. It's very strange to have like a Canadian exclusive release that's not released just all in North America or whatever. So I'll probably do like home theater and 3D and video game, classic retro games, and all kinds of stuff like that, videos, and probably physically bring out a lot of my collection, or at least my favorites and maybe some of the least favorites. Treasure of the Four Crowns was like a gimmick all over, start to finish, but it's kind of like an Indiana Jones ripoff, and very boring. I fell asleep like 2 or 3 times trying to get through it. Revenge of the Shogun Women, another one I could never get through. I kept falling asleep. Maybe one day I'll make it through it. One of my favorites, and absolutely crazy Dolby Atmos soundtrack, is Mad Max Fury Road, for example. One of the films that was converted late in the game. Terminator 2, this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time in 2D. So we had to have that in 3D. One of the films that pretty early on in the resurrection of, I guess, 3D theater experiences was Shark Night 3D, and I thought that was pretty awesome when I seen it several years back, and I want to rewatch it again. The Kung Fu Panda movies are very fun as well. I've got all 3 of them. Kung Fu Panda 3. One of them that I haven't seen in 3D yet is Jumanji: The Next Level. Natalie and I actually saw the original Jumanji in the theater. She kept falling asleep, and every time the audience started laughing about, because these are comedy people, comedians, Kevin Hart and Jack Black and all, they would laugh in the theater, and she'd wake up and start laughing. The 3D in the first one wasn't that great, in my opinion, but I haven't seen the second one yet. Here's another one I haven't seen yet. Minions: The Rise of Gru. This is a Random Space Media exclusive, and unfortunately they're going out of business, so most likely all of their 3D releases, including I think Jumanji 2 is Random Space Media exclusive. Jurassic World Dominion, I believe, is a Random Space Media exclusive, and a few others. So they're going out of business, and I ended up ordering Doolittle, even though I heard the conversion isn't very good, just to kind of have that one before there's no way to get it again. Another one of their, I believe it's an exclusive, is Hotel Transylvania 3. So, two others are one they already pulled from the market. Sing 2, before they went out of business, they pulled this because it has an error in the, I guess, subtitle or text encoding or something somewhere. There's like text on a scene where it only shows in one of the eyes instead of the left and the right eye. And then they had this other exclusive here, The Bad Guys. All of these guys, all of these movies are probably going to skyrocket in price soon. And they had Boss Baby 2, but I think it's not an exclusive. I think there is a German version of it, which I do not have. But this is one of the ultimate ones too that, you know, was an exclusive, Spider-Man No Way Home. And then Disney recently announced they were like cutting out like physical media, I guess, in Australia where these are from. So that kind of cut most of the Random Space Media's business out almost entirely. Now, probably one of the greatest concerts, like in 3D, and I have the Guns N' Roses one and one or two other ones, is Metallica's Through the Never. And this is the Atmos release. So there is like, was a North American version, I think that was a Best Buy exclusive, but it does not have the Atmos soundtrack. This one is Atmos, and it's a German release. They might have even had a Chinese release, I'm not sure. A few others I haven't seen, Still Sealed, Prison Girls, which I guess is like a 70s or something raunchy prison movie. And this, surprisingly, Avatar, The Way of the Water, Part 2. It's a very long movie. I haven't seen it in 2D or 3D. And another one, The Diamond Wizard, a classic from probably like the 50s, which also I have not seen yet. One day, if I ever have time. My newest prized possessions, I guess, are the Japanese MovieNex 4K 3D packs. This is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've seen it in 2D, so I know it has to be really good in 3D. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Also a Japanese MovieNex 4K and 3D combo set. I can't wait to see this. Lastly, for one I haven't seen yet, Dune. So yeah, this is kind of an intro, kind of introducing everybody to how I got into 3D, how it started with a drive-in theater, and we really couldn't afford the walk-in theaters that much. We would put in it was like $2 for a carload of people to get in the drive-in on the weekends, and we would pack in almost every weekend for many years, and you know, then getting VHS players, and my dad going to like Eckerd's Drugs and buying VHS tapes and stuff, movies for us, and it just, you know, evolved. You know, I really didn't like the VHS format for the most part, but when DVD came out and Laserdisc, you know, I got into Laserdisc really late, but I like VCDs and HD DVDs and Blu-rays and all that good stuff. You know, I just then it became home theater. You know, again, I'm late in the game. There was Pro Logic and, you know, 3-speaker sound and all kinds of stuff, stereo sound, and that I didn't really get into as far as for, you know, movies and all that stuff. But it eventually evolved into 3D and Dolby Atmos and DTSX, and I love 3D. It's something that as I had a family, as I got a family, everything, gaming, collecting, watching, you know, tons of movies, all that stuff really slowed down. But at least I have knowledge and I have a collection and I can talk about it, and in future collections or future videos we can kind of go into more specifics, and hopefully you guys can enjoy it.